one of the side benefits about working from home last year is that they shifted all the schedules around because of COVID and different restrictions in different countries, but I got to watch all 3 of my favorite European travelogues last year, which are the big Grand Tour bike races. Okay. They do the one. It's this year. It's going on right now in Italy, the Giro d'Italia, and then there's the Tour de France, and then there's the Vuelta a España.
Okay.
And so, they ride 100 miles or so every day across the countryside, and they have the cameras on the motorcycles and the helicopters and everything, and so you see all of the different landscapes and the historic sites, and they give you the little factoids about all the castles and chateaus and everything they go by, and it's really nice.
There was a guy I worked with who went and took a month or 2 months, I don't know how long, and I think he rode some of those routes just for fun, and just did it to just tour. I can imagine the scenery and how awesome that would be.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess you guys saw the message from Paul that he is out, and I think Ken left for Texas today, so I believe he will be out.
Oh, no.
Ivy is going to be by, and I'm expecting Heather to be here, so we should have 4 people. We should have 4 players here tonight.
All right. Awesome. We can face off against Strahd with just the 4 of us or 3 of us.
Get it. Just the 2 of us. We can make it if we try. Just the 2 of us.
Hey, we got Piddlewick. He's ready to go, man. As long as Strahd or someone else doesn't turn him on us.
Now, Michael, just be careful about how much you sing, because we will get copyright strikes.
Actually, you can't. You can only get copyright strikes if you play music. You can. It's not like Big Brother. You can. If you do any, I've done this on my live streams. If you do any singing,
James is listening to us. Don't.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't care. I don't investigate that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's okay. He probably knows everything there is to know about all of us.
Yeah.
No.
Doesn't know about me, man. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, Goonie, how are you?
I'm good. Long time no talk.
My little brother, my youngest brother, is graduating high school today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I couldn't make the graduation. Plus, with all this shit going on and up there, and it's up the road from me, but it's nobody up there is going to be wearing masks. They're just all going to be they're right up on top of each other, and there still is a little bit of stuff going on. Not everyone's vaccinated, so that's the last thing I need is to catch it. Because now they don't pay me to stay home if I caught COVID.
Right. Well, I was so glad for last weekend to roll around. I just dove in head first back into all the activities. We had our supporter group for the soccer team had a get together Friday night at the one of the little microbreweries. They had some people from the front office of the team that were there, and then we got to meet all the new officers, or hear announced who the new officers were for the supporter group this year. Then Saturday we went out and we painted a tifo, so that they could have that at the game on Sunday. And then Sunday we had the tailgate and the game and everything. So it was a really good weekend, and everybody had their mask. The stadium still has a mask policy, so you have to wear a mask when you go in the stadium, which is fine. And then in the tailgate lot, they asked everybody to say, okay, if you've been vaccinated, the CDC is saying if you've been vaccinated, you're not going to transmit. So mask is optional. However, we would ask everybody to bring a mask just in case anybody is, would prefer that other people wear a mask. And then, if you're interacting with those folks, please wear a mask. So I was like, okay, that's fine. But as far as I know, 100% of the people I polled were, have already had their vaccinations, and so it was a fun time.
Glad you got to get out of the house for once.
Yeah. It felt long overdue. Speaking of long overdue, we're about a minute past time, and welcome everybody. I believe the music is all turned down now. I am DM Galabond. I am joined tonight by most of our players. We have a couple of players that are not able to join us, one that we knew about and one that got sick today. And we are here for session 45 of the Sword Coast Chronicles, a session I like to call Strahd Strikes Back. And
dun, dun, dun.
That doesn't sound ominous.
Not at all. Literally strikes.
Yeah. Yes. Last time when we met our heroes, they were in the town of Krezk. Let me go ahead and bring the map up for the stream. They were in the town of Krezk, and it was early morning. And the abbot led the party and Ireena Kolyana down to this beautiful little pond in the northern edge of Krezk. And when they got there, Ireena, as well as everybody else, saw the form of Sergei in the pond. And Sergei reached a hand out to Ireena. Ireena took his hand, and the two of them disappeared into the pond and faded from view, going to a place that Strahd cannot reach them. And speaking of Strahd, he didn't like that very much. The clouds grew darker and formed into a visage of Strahd's face, and he shouted out in a voice that probably could be heard all across Barovia, saying, "She is mine." And then a lightning bolt slammed into the lake, which is going to cause everybody to make a dexterity save. So, everybody, we can get started by making a dex save.
Oh, fun.
So,
hey, that's one of my best skills. Mulek, you're really dexterous too.
Lucky roll.
Okay, so
I would, but it's sitting here spinning on me. So
yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see. Oh, nice.
Come on.
Okay.
Is the digital dice cocked?
Yeah, we're gonna. Okay, that's good.
Oh.
Then
I apologize.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. It happens.
Well,
I guess
Cable made us all have to, they were getting rid of our other plans. So we just bought a brand new modem, brand new router, have this gigabyte thing, and we still get crappy ass service.
Yeah, updating my internet is fine if you're going to actually
make
update
it
my
better.
performance. Yeah, if you're still gonna give me crappy service, then what the heck is wrong with you, people?
Oh.
Can I
Okay.
spend my other inspiration, or my inspiration that I have left over to reroll?
Yeah, if you have an inspiration, you sure can use it.
Okay, so
that would be a 17.
17. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then where is. There we go. There we go. And. Okay. Well. Mulek.
Yes.
There's a. Okay. The ground or the lightning bolt seems to shake the ground a little bit, and your knees wobble, but you keep your feet. Same holds true for Thaldohr, for Dez, and for Esmeralda. Rictavio, however, and the abbot as well. Rictavio, however, he winds up falling down, and lands on his face in the grass next to the pond, and then he scrambles to get back up. And following the lightning bolt, as he climbs to his feet, there is a rumble of thunder. The visage of Strahd's face seems to fade from the clouds, but there is a rumble of thunder, and that rumble of thunder seems to continue, and it gets louder, and it gets louder, and it rolls on, and it rolls on, and there. Go ahead.
Do we see like storm clouds gathering, or are we just hearing it in the sky?
You're just hearing it in the sky, and everybody make me a perception check. Let's see how.
I'm not doing good tonight.
That was my worst roll so far.
You're getting all of the bad rolls out of the way, Heather. Okay. With Dez and Thaldohr, and we'll just say the NPCs, kind of all are just looking around and sort of looking up at the sky and looking at the pond, and not taking much stock of what's going on. But Mulek, you look southward towards the town, and you see that several people are running out of houses in the town, and they're looking around and looking up at the sky. Obviously, this is not something that you all alone are hearing. It's something that everybody is hearing. You would also notice that maybe one of these families has a horse, and that horse is just sort of going crazy and bucking and everything because of all the noise and whatnot going on. Another one has a mule, and the mule's ears are laying flat, and it's just braying up a storm. So this is, whatever this is that's happening, it's something that is registering with people and animals all across, at least across this little village.
It's coming from the south.
So as this thunder grows louder and louder, you all feel they're sort of at first it's kind of a little gentle swaying, and then it's like the ground beneath your feet just starts bucking like a wild horse that is, that somebody is trying to tame. And I need everybody to make me dexterity saves again.
Oh.
Jeez. Ooh.
Okay.
Mulek's got them blessed dice tonight.
I did. Last night I didn't.
Okay.
That happens.
Esmeralda and Mulek both managed to keep their feet. Everybody else gets thrown hard to the ground, including Rictavio, who just stood up from falling down before.
I get
I had a critical failure.
Well,
You're never gonna keep me down.
Oh my goodness, Heather, you did. You had a critical failure and a critical success. Oh
Yes.
my God, you're at the extremes. Okay, everybody. There's no such thing as a critical failure on a saving throw, so it's just a failure. Everybody who failed, everybody who failed takes 6 damage, bludgeoning damage from being thrown to the ground so hard it's like you fell 10 feet.
Jeez.
Ow.
So,
Ow, that hurt a little bit, Mulek. That hurt. This guy's nothing to screw with.
Yeah.
So that means that okay, that means Rictavio takes 6 and the abbot takes 6.
As I'm on the ground, I look up at Mulek. I'm like, Mulek, are we sure we're ready for this?
I don't know. I'm busy looking to see what it's doing to the buildings to see if they're collapsing. Is the ground opening up?
Interesting that you should say that. I wasn't even going to make people roll a perception check because there is a loud, the loud sound of, falling masonry and thuds, and you all look up and you can see that part of the wall around the abbey and part of one of the abbey buildings itself collapse on top of the hill here. There are when this earthquake happens, there are screams from inside the village as well. And then you all notice something out here in this area. I'm going to draw a circle for you. You all notice, or draw an ellipse for you. You all notice something out in this area here. I should also say that nearby you, about right here, a section of the wall collapses. Section of the town wall collapses.
At the at the second rumbling where the ground is shaking, I'm gonna bring Casper into. I'm gonna blink Casper in and say, "Keep a watch," and have him just kind of go up high and just keep a watch. Let me know if he sees anything.
Okay. He's like, okay, and he goes flying up into the air. He screeches like an owl would screech, which I can't make that noise. Yeah. Ooh, ooh.
Like, grab
And
my hand, help me up.
he
pick you up.
runs up there, or he flies up there. And the abbot looks at you all, and he says, the the abbey is collapsing. The wards, they will not hold. You all must flee. I must go attend and see that my people are okay. Please, you must run for your lives. Go.
Go where?
And Esmeralda says, the tower that Van Richten used. It is not far away, an hour or two at most. We can get there quickly. And Van Richten says, but my wagon, it is up at the abbey. And she says, you old fool, don't worry about it now. We've got to go. And
So wait, Rosario's name is Van Richten, is his last name?
Rictavio.
Rictavio.
Rictavio. Well, I guess you all would still know him as Rictavio. So Rictavio says, he complains about his wagon, and Esmeralda, dresses him down for being dumb and not wanting to, says that we ought to go. And as you all look towards that, this area that I drew over here, you see that it looks like there's a number of headstones there. And the ground starts being pushed up from underneath, and desiccated hands and sometimes bony skeletal hands shoot up out of the soil, and they begin clawing themselves out of the ground. And as you look, or as you look, you can see that in a couple of the breaches of the abbey walls up here, it looks like there are more undead that are coming up out of graveyards there and beginning to shamble down the hills towards you guys. So, for all you know, every graveyard in Krezk is, beginning to divulge itself of its corpses, and they are being sent after you. So what this means is that we are going to have a chase over to the Wizard's Tower. Both Rictavio and Esmeralda know where it is, so you guys don't need to worry about the particulars of what direction you're going or how you're getting there. We'll do that more or less narratively. But you guys will have an opportunity to do a skills challenge. And
yay!
And the skills challenge, Ivy is joining us tonight, and Ivy has graciously agreed to run Esmeralda during combats. And a skills challenge pretty much is like a combat. So Ivy, you should be able to see Esmeralda's a character sheet in your journal. And if you open that, you should have a list of her skills and what she's.
Yeah, I have it open.
Okay. Okay. Actually, you don't have a. Okay, you do have a list of some of her skills. If there's a skill that is not on her, that is not listed under the skills block, then it's just going to use her, whatever ability that's tied to. So if you if you have a question about a different skill, let me know, and I'll tell you what it is, or somebody else can tell you what ability that's tied to, and what it is. But you've got a number of skills there that are available to you, because Esmeralda's a pretty dope gal. All right. So as always, you guys are going to get to roll initiative. Let me make sure that. Okay, so we're going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this. Oh, I need to bring. All right, you guys will need to bring your tokens out onto the board. So Mulek and then Thaldohr, you can. And Dez and Esmeralda.
This is so tiny.
Yeah, for whatever reason, there. Okay.
I'm a pocket druid.
Yeah. Thaldohr or Michael, are you able to get Thaldohr's token out?
I don't see my token.
Go into your journal. Drag your token out.
Oh, drag my token out. Oh, yeah, I can do that. My bad. Hold on.
No, that's all right.
I'm going to cast haste on Thaldohr.
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah. Hold on. There we go.
All right, wonderful. Okay. Well, excellent.
That's one of the lowest initiatives I ever rolled.
Esmeralda.
But it doesn't ever beat my lowest.
And then, okay, oops. Okay, and then let's see, Dez. What is Dez's dex score? Dez has a dex of 15. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in descending order. Okay. And of course, as per usual, you can use any skill that you want, with two exceptions. You cannot use the same skill that you used the round before, and you cannot use the same skill as the person who went just before you in initiative order. So that means on your next turn, Thaldohr, you won't be able to use the same skill as Esmeralda, or the one that you used the first round. But this time, all the skills are open to you. The objective is to flee out of Krezk and get to a place called Lake Bartok, where there is a tower that Esmeralda and Rictavio know about, and they immediately point to that gap in the wall where the wall just fell. And I should say, as the abbot speaks and tells you that he is going up there, a transformation happens before your eyes. The abbot, something about him, he shimmers. And the visage of the human abbot that you see falls away. And he becomes this sort of glowing, man-like creature that has like a golden, a pale golden skin that seems to sort of just radiate a glow. And from his back, these large white wings unfurl. Large white feathery wings unfurl. And his eyes glow with a golden glow. And he says, flee while you can. And he leaps up into the air. And as he leaps up into the air, you notice something. The underside of his wings, all the feathers are pure white. But as he flaps his wings and starts to fly into the air, you notice that some of the wings on some of the feathers on what would be the top side of the wing, they are not white. They look black, and they look blackened. And somehow there's just something that looks a little bit wrong with them.
I was thinking of my first skill. Can I roll? Let's see. I was thinking about it, but I was going to say that. Who has the higher perception? I have +7. Who has higher than that? Mulek, do you have higher perception than me?
I have +8.
I'm 5.
Okay, so Dez has a higher perception. I'm gonna say perception for Dez. Can I was gonna say investigate, use my intelligence, investigate to infer what I would know about that guy, or history?
That really would not be part of the skills challenge. I'll let you do a history to see if you know anything, but because the goal of the skills challenge is to get away. And
not with that one. Thank God I got that out of the way.
Investigating him really doesn't help your cause. So
all right. Well, then I'm going to use so Rictavio is trying to run for his wagon, right? So we can get out of here, correct?
No. They're just all. Esmeralda has convinced him that he just needs to join you and run.
Oh no, we're losing the wagon and all his supplies. Ah.
Oh no.
And his animal.
I guess I'll use acrobatics to jump around all these hands and stuff coming out of the ground as we're running away.
Okay.
I think that sounds good for story. That you see Thaldohr, because Mulek casted haste on me. So you just see me bolting.
No, I don't have haste. That was just a joke.
Oh, it was a joke? Okay.
Yeah.
But so I am being hasteful myself, just running. So I'm just dodging all these hands coming out of the ground. Dirty 20.
All right. Very good. That is a success. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I will. Oh, fudge. Gotta be on the right layer, DM. I will move Ireena up 1. Okay. So that is 1 success versus no failures. And Mulek,
yes,
you are now up.
So while I don't have haste, I do have something else. So I reach back and I find 6 of the undead I pick them out, and I will cast slow on them to slow them up.
Okay, that would be an Arcana.
Yes.
Check for you. So.
Ooh. Inspiration.
You have an inspiration.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Much
there
better.
We go. There we go. Okay. So, Thaldohr starts to run and sort of leaps and jumps and spins to avoid some of these hands that are reaching out, and you see one that's about to grab Van Richten's or Rictavio's ankle, and you manage to spin the old man out of the way and sort of get him a push towards that broken section of the wall where Esmeralda just grabs him and starts running. And then Mulek turns back behind you and just sort of sweeps his hand out, and 6 of them that had sort of gotten out of the ground and were starting to lope, they sort of go into slow motion, and they're having a really hard time moving towards you. So that's 2 successes and no failures. All right. You can go ahead, Mulek.
Sorry.
Des. Heather, you've done skills challenges with us before, so
Oh yeah.
Anything is open to you except for Arcana.
Okay. So what was you said had me save my perception?
He was thinking about using that on the abbot. That's no need. That doesn't help the cause.
Am
so
I
you
allowed
can
to
use
magic?
You can as a druid, you can narratively use your spells, and we would call that a religion check.
Okay.
So consider whether you would want to use that. Now, I was when we get to another break in the story, and we go to another shift to another campaign storyline, we might change that based on what the players want. I was listening to a game that another DM was running online, and he had a slightly different take. He used very close to the same rules that I do for skills challenges, but when his players use spells, he will count it as an automatic success, but he requires them to mark the spell off as a used spell slot.
Okay.
What I do is I say narratively you use the spell, but it doesn't count against your spell slots. This DM said, I'll give you basically a free success, but the price for that is you have to mark it off as a spell slot.
Okay. So actually, I'm not going to use a spell at this minute. I'm thinking. I mean, it's pretty obvious the ground is shaking and rumbling, and the walls of the abbey are coming down, so that the wards and stuff like that are broken. But is there any way to possibly use insight to see, maybe figure out to the extent of what's going to happen here? I mean, or either that, or I can do survival to basically get the hell out of here.
Yeah, survival sounds better. I mean,
Yeah.
Survival sounds better. Insight is sort of like trying to understand the motivations of somebody you can see.
Okay.
And so, I mean, you cannot see Strahd, and it probably doesn't take a whole lot of insight to figure out what his motivations are. I mean, he's having a tantrum at the moment.
So I will go ahead as these creatures start coming up out of the ground. Who is Esmeralda? So we got Esmeralda, Mulek, Thaldohr, myself,
And
Ireena.
Rictavio. No, Ireena's gone. She's safe.
Okay. And
You're safe.
Rictavio. All right.
I'm living a blessed life.
She is safe in the celestial realms with
Yay.
Lathander and Sergei.
So basically, I will use my, I guess basically I'll say I'll use my quarterstaff to like take a swipe at anything that tries to grab me as I'm trying to help my friends and myself get as far away as possible from grabby.
Okay. All right. So that
luck.
survival check sounds good. Ooh, 15. 15. That's not quite good enough. Now, Des used inspiration. Does anybody else have an inspiration they would like to? No, but Mulek has a chronal shift.
Now those will count for me, right? You want me to take those off?
Yeah.
I figured. That's fine.
Those are Des. You get to roll your d20 again because of what Mulek did.
Aw, he's so awesome. Let's hope I don't fuck it up.
Oh, very good. Nice. Okay. So that's 3 successes and no failures. All right. So you know now 15 was too low. So you know that success is somewhere between at least a 16 and a 20 will succeed. So you guys are walking in on the thing. And after Des, we have Esmeralda. So Esmeralda, there are people, or there are undead kind of trying to crawl out of their crypts. You've got Van Richten that you're trying to help get out of the town. The last skill used was survival. So what would you like to use to try to get out of here?
Question before I give you my answer.
Sure.
Has she been anywhere like this, or has she basically been a part of any of something that looks like this before?
Oh, she has been in a lot of fights against a lot of supernatural crap. Whether or not there's been a specific situation where there was some powerful vampire lord trying to bring a mountain down on top of her or not, I don't know. But definitely, she would have had scrapes like this. I mean, she lost her leg fighting werewolves after all, so she's.
That would be a secret. No. Yes, I ended up reading it just because I was nosy.
Okay.
But
no, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Even though that she's been through scrapes and scraps and a lot of challenges, she's still a little bit worrying because she wasn't exactly prepared for Strahd to be cursing in the sky and throwing rumbles and earthquakes and left and right. So she's gonna try and use her deception to make sure that she looks strong so people can follow her with confidence.
Ooh. Oh, okay. She's feeling a little bit scared, but she wants to put on an air of being brave. You know what? I like that. That's a creative use of that.
Really good.
27. Wow. Very nice.
Oh,
Nice.
not Ireena anymore.
Very nice. Well done, Esmeralda. Okay, so four successes to no failures. All right, and then we will push that around to Thaldohr. Okay, Thaldohr, deception was just used, and I think he used acrobatics the first time. So anything else is open to you. Oh, and by the way, actually, I lied. Des, go ahead and make sure you give yourself inspiration. Mulek, you have inspiration because I think you used yours. And Thaldohr, you also have inspiration. All of those courtesy of Snivy in the chat room. So thank you, Snivy,
Nice.
Thank
you.
for cashing in some points and giving inspiration. So just mark that down on your character sheet. So next time, if you need
So
it, you guys have that.
Awesome.
That will help us tremendously.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. So Thaldohr, you're up.
So I am going to use my perception check to try to find the best pathway out of here as I'm thinking quick on my feet to get us out of this place.
Okay. Yeah, by this time you guys have escaped the walls and have run around and you're back to the road. And Esmeralda points off to the basically to the north. And she says, "Follow me." And so you're headed off into an area that's kind of hilly and wooded. So using your perception, you can sort of try to find a clearer path. So yeah, that's good.
All right. Nice.
Very nice. Very nice. A 25. Okay, that's going to be another success. So you spot what looks like a well-worn path, and Des, you would just sort of automatically recognize that the trail that Thaldohr starts running down, this is clearly a game trail of some sort. As a druid, you would recognize what it is, but Thaldohr apparently realized, oh, something uses this to go back and forth, so this must be a good way to get in this direction. And so he's heading off that way. All right, great, Thaldohr. And next we have, I think we have Mulek next. All right.
Okay, so as we're running, getting kind of out of town, more into this nature, Mulek is planning ahead, and he's looking to see what type of vegetation, if there's vines, anything that I could use my stone speaker crystal to talk to any kind of plants. And so I'm trying to figure out which plants would be best for slowing up the rest of these undead coming after us.
Okay, yeah, there's some briars, vines like briars and stuff like that, and there's some tall weeds that are kind of brownish, but they still are alive. So yeah, you could maybe find out some of them.
Would that fall under nature?
Yeah, I would go ahead and I would allow that as nature.
Okay.
If you get a good nature check.
If that helps. Oh my.
No.
Okay, well, you have advantage.
Yeah, I'm going to use my inspiration that I just got. God, man, I'm rolling really low on my good high.
That's better.
Oof,
Hey,
goodness.
18. Mulek found the magic number. 18 is exactly what you guys need to get a success. So now you have 6 successes versus no failures. Oh, and I love the chat room. Chat room, you guys are just wonderful. Thank you.
You guys are awesome.
All right, and so Mulek activates the stone speaker crystal, and you guys pass by a thicket of briars, and he points the crystal at the briars, and he just kind of raises an eyebrow at them, and the briars seem to rustle a little bit, and Mulek, what do you tell them?
I say, disrupt the path behind us. Slow these creatures down as best you can. Stop their progression.
And the impression that comes back from the briars is food.
Yes.
And they seem to kind of rustle and almost as you guys are looking back, tendrils seem to kind of reach out across the path that you have just traversed behind you. Okay, and Dez.
Okay. Okay, so you said the briars and stuff are going to start like reaching out.
Yeah, you can tell you don't know what this purple crystal thing is that Mulek pulled out, but he pointed it at those briars, and they seem to respond to him in much the same way that plants will sometimes respond when you want them to do things as a druid. So you may have to have a conversation with him about that at some point when you're not running for your lives.
Okay, so when we took off to run, did we have other than my giant goat, was there any other horses or stuff that were with our party?
No.
Originally, when we came.
No, the creatures that Mulek threw out from his bag of tricks, they vanish at dawn. So those are gone.
But I meant, like, did we have any horses, or were we all walking on foot?
You all were walking on foot down to the pond. So any other animals would be up at the Abbey. Which is
how many people
a
you think
mile
the goat
or two behind.
Goat can carry?
Well, let's see. Esmeralda has heavy armor. Rictavio doesn't wear armor. Thaldohr has light armor. Mulek. Does Mulek wear armor? I don't think Mulek wears armor.
Yeah, I've got
probably 2 people.
I've got a breastplate.
Okay.
Yeah, could probably 2 people, like a horse. One person sitting there, the other one grabbing around their waist.
Okay.
Like you do, but probably one of you and probably one of Esmeralda because of her heavy armor, but otherwise 2 other people.
So I'm gonna kind of go out on a weird ass limb here, maybe, and dance a jig, but
hey, it's D&D.
It's D&D. So since I have been in this area for months now, traveling through this whole area time and time again, do I have kind of a general idea? Do we have any hills? Do we have any, cliffs? Do we have anything rising, like hard rock surface nearby that's kind of up and off the ground or anything like that? I mean, even if it's just a couple miles down the road or whatever.
Yeah, you guys are sort of skirting along the edge of the Sphalic woods, and you're skirting the edge because going through those woods can be very thick and might slow you down. And the terrain you're going over is mostly grassy hill country, and so it's a little bit up and down, and yeah, you're generally heading to the north and east
Okay.
as you're running.
So how fast are these zombies, these undead moving?
Well, the fastest ones are going about the same speed that you all can run. However, Mulek slowed. Mulek slowed some of them down at the beginning, and now he's slowed more of them down. So you guys appear to be increasing the distance between you and them. You're pulling away from them. Now, obviously, at some point they're going to get through that difficult terrain, and they'll be back to going the same speed. But you're gaining ground against them.
Okay. So here was my thought. Since I know this with the goat, I keep wanting to say Sky. There it is, Sangzor. Sorry. Kept wanting to say Skyzor, and I'm like, that's not right. Sangzor, since he is 9 foot tall and a very agile goat, so to speak, would we be able to let's see here, how fast does he move? Go through, like, basically take a left at Albuquerque and head deeper into the woods to maybe a place that isn't.
Oh, have him sort of go in front and just sort of plow down a path.
Well, what I was
you
thinking
guys
was grabbing one
follow.
person at a time, and we'll start by making a pathway. I'll grab somebody, pull them up behind me, we'll take off. I'll use animal handling. That's what I'm going for here. So animal handling to get him to take myself and someone else deeper into the forest, harder to reach area. He'll wind up tramping down some of the stuff and tell the other people to start trying to make their way through. As soon as I find a place to drop this person off, then come back and get the next person.
Yeah, and I would recommend and Des would be able to see this, that probably the person that would be most in need of that would be Rictavio, because he's an old man, and he is he's spry for his age, but he's puffing and blowing already in a way that nobody else is at this time. This is clearly more energetic exercise than he's used to.
Okay. So let's see. His speed is 40 feet. So just FYI, he's moving faster than the other one. So
here's what you can do with a successful animal handling check. You're going to be able to cut off like 2 hexes of the distance. By going, instead of going around the edge of a little peninsula of woods that sticks out into the grassland, you can just cut right through that. So yeah.
Okay.
So you can use an animal handling for that, and that will advance the whole party a little bit more quickly.
So cross your fingers, guys. Here we go. No.
Okay.
Inspiration.
Yes, you can use that inspiration you were given by the chat room. Oh, okay. Well, that's the first failure for the team, which is fine.
I'm sorry.
You've got you only need 2 more successes to win.
Maybe it's just too thick for him.
Yeah, actually,
he doesn't like the thought of somebody being on him.
Actually, you that actually seems to be a little bit the case. You pull Van Richten up behind you, or Rictavio up on the goat behind you, and he just the goat just sort of seems distracted a little bit. But when Rictavio's now, you've had other people on the goat with you before, and he's never acted this way, but he's kind of a little freaked out by this guy for whatever reason. And so you're not sure what that's all about. But instead of going straight through like you want him to, he like does that thing that sometimes horses will do, where he like seems to find the low-hanging tree branches and he runs straight at those, and you find yourself kind of having to duck off the side and pull Rictavio down with you to keep from getting, bumped off the back of Sangzor. And it's like, he's not done this before. So you're not sure what it is. And after a while, you finally just dismount from him, and then he sort of straightens up. So he will. You feel like if you don't have anybody ride him, you can probably make him forge a path through the woods, but at least having Rictavio on his back is just going to freak him out.
Okay.
So
right,
that's a failure, but
moving on.
Yep. So the next, we come to Esmeralda.
As they're walking, through clear on the path of the woods, there's probably roots and stuff and little rocks and things that are on the ground. So she has to pay attention to her walking more, especially with, her leg. So I'm going to use her acrobatics just to make sure that she stays stable and she doesn't stagger foot on the floor or anything.
Okay. All right. 19. Wonderful.
Nice.
Okay, that's a success. All right, so we are at 7 successes and only 1 failure. And now you guys push through the edge of the woods, and you see a medium-sized circular lake out in front of you. And the lake is almost a mile across. And as you look down kind of to the east and a bit to the south from where you come out, you see that there is a small island connected to the eastern shore of the lake by a short causeway. And on that island, there is a medium-sized tower. And you can see parked out beside that tower, there is a colorful wagon that reminds you a bit of Rictavio's wagon. And Esmeralda says, "We're almost there," and she points at the tower. So
I have an idea.
Yeah, so Esmeralda succeeded, gets you there to that point. And then we next go back to Thaldohr. So that was acrobatics, Thaldohr. So unfortunately, you won't be able to use acrobatics this time, but and then what did you use last time? You used
I think
you
it
used
was
perception. Yeah, you used perception. So no perception and no acrobatics.
I think this time I'm gonna use my big guns to get this hopefully final win here. I'm gonna use stealth, and I'm gonna explain how I'm gonna use stealth. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to hide in and out of the trees as we're coming towards this lake to make sure I don't see anything on the outskirts of the lake and be hidden. So pretty much to be like, hey, as we're running, hey Mulek, I'm ducking in here for a minute and I just can't be seen.
Okay, now how does that help your group get to the tower?
So that I make sure as I'm stealthing, I can actually make sure that like I'm scouting ahead because I'm so fast. Because if I double dash,
Okay.
that's 60 feet. I'm so fast, I'm scouting ahead. So if I use stealth, I can't be seen as I'm scouting ahead. It's almost weird that a rogue's doing a ranger like thing, but I'm scouting ahead to make sure that I can report back that there's no enemies or something as we're getting closer to the tower.
I like it. It's all a matter of pitching me how you use it.
I'm definitely using inspiration on that.
Okay.
One. That's one of the lowest stealth rolls I've ever done besides a nat 1. That's my highest stat with plus 11. Jesus. That's much better.
There we go.
Nice.
26. And Esmeralda, we can thank
I'm a ghost.
Amish in the chat room, Amish Overlord, because Esmeralda, now you can add advantage. So you have advantage if you need it in a combat, Ivy. All right. Well, congratulations, you guys. You reach the Wizard's Tower. And we have a map for the Wizard's Tower here somewhere.
The Wizard's Tower in the middle of a big piece of water?
Yes, hold on here.
Is there a boat?
Well, there's a causeway. There's a causeway.
There's a causeway.
So
there's a causeway.
Okay.
Yeah. So you don't need to.
But do we notice if it's like kept up, or is it decrepit, or is it?
No, the causeway is very. There we go. Is very nicely built and maintained. It's a nice stone causeway. Oh, fudge factor. Okay.
But the castle, or the tower.
The tower is well maintained. Okay, right. So actually, I'm gonna move you guys back to that because I need to do something to this stupid map because of the stupid thing. Okay, so now I'm gonna go here. We're going to go. We're going to go to this. We're going to turn that off. Save that. Then we will go to this, and we're going to this and this, and I will put a there. I will there. I will put a there. All right, wonderful. Okay, and then I will move you guys back to this. Okay, and I know it doesn't look like anything has changed yet, but now, there we go. Okay, so you guys, you guys all come up to this towards this tower, and let me see what do you find? What do you find? Okay. You have come to a cold mountain lake enclosed by misty woods and rocky bluffs. Thick fog creeps across the dark, still waters. The trail ends at a grass-covered causeway that stretches 100 yards across the lake to a flat, marshy island with a stone tower on it. The tower is old, and it looks decrepit, with collapsing scaffolds clinging to one side where a large gash has split the wall. Time-worn griffin statues, their wings and flanks covered with moss, perch atop buttresses that support the walls. Parked near the base of the tower within sight of the entrance is a barrel-topped wagon spattered with mud. And the tower stands 80 feet tall. So it looks like there's 4 windows, and the scaffolding is up to the 3rd floor, and it looks like somebody has been making repairs to that breach in the walls. And Rictavio says, "Well, it's good to see that nothing has further damaged the tower since the last time I was here." And Esmeralda will say, "Yes, that's why I thought I would find you here. I thought that you might still be making repairs, but then I realized that nothing had been done in a long time." And Van Richten says, "Yes, well, have you been inside, child?" And Esmeralda says, "Yes, I sheltered in there. It was a bit unsettling." He says, Yes, it is. I'm not sure who was here. I'm not sure who constructed this tower, but whoever it was, they made sure that other casters would not be able to use their magic within its walls." And he looks at both Des and Mulek, and he says, there is some sort of a force or a field or something. If you need to cast any spells, you must come outside the tower and get several feet away before your magic will work. Otherwise, when you are inside the tower, it's like your connection to the weave is completely cut off.
That's good to know.
Yes.
And Esmeralda looks at the looks at you all, and she smiles and says, "Rictavio's not the only one with a wagon, and mine has a few surprises." And then you hear from an outbuilding over there, you hear like the sound of a horse, whickering in the stalls. And Esmeralda says, "Oh, my horse, it's still here." And she runs off over there to see to the horse. And as you all look at the wagon, under layers of mud, this wagon sports a fresh coat of purple paint, and its wheels have fancy gold trim. A brass lantern hangs from each corner, and red drapes cover a tombstone-shaped window on each side. A steel padlock secures the back door, hanging from which is a cheap wooden sign that reads, "Keep Out."
Good gold hubcaps.
It's a party wagon.
Okay.
So yeah, Des basically is gonna get Sangzor settled somewhere
Okay.
for the time being until we get information as to where we're going or what we're doing.
Do we know if any of the undead are still following us?
By this time, with the shortcut you guys took and the hindrances that you put up, you cannot tell for sure.
Okay.
And Rictavio suggests that all of you should get into the tower. He says, I know that as a caster, it may be unsettling to go inside, but if magic does not work in there, perhaps one cannot be scryed when they are inside the tower either. It might be best to use any potential protections we have.
And anything magical happening just automatically gets disabled once we enter the tower? Or is it only we can't cast inside the tower?
Is it like a null magic zone? Like
Rictavio smiles and he says, as for that, you should have a look. I know that my own magical devices seem to fail when I go inside the tower. I must come outside to use them. But whoever built this tower has some permanent magics that apparently are unaffected by the wards that are on the place.
Okay, I'm going to command Casper to, or ask Casper since I'm polite. Casper, do your thing. Keep an eye out. Warn me if dead or other unsavory creatures approach.
Ooh.
I will be going inside.
Ooh. Okay. All right. Well, you guys go inside, and as you come up to the tower door is made of iron with no visible handles or hinges. In the middle of the door is a large embossed symbol, a connected series of lines with 8 stick figures set around it. Carved into the lintel above the door is a word, Kazan.
Kazan. Does that ring a bell with any of the languages I know?
You can make a history check.
So
yeah, you can make a history check.
Kazan. It's like Shazam.
And okay, so history of 21, 16, 19. Okay. Yeah, Mulek definitely, and Thaldohr. I'm going to give this to you with a 19. Thaldohr would remember at some point the word Kazan, he thinks, oh, that's not a language. That's somebody's name. You've heard somebody say the name Kazan in reference to a person before. And Mulek, you know that Kazan was a well-known wizard that was from the area of Baldur's Gate who lived 1,000 years ago or more. And this wizard was known for being an engineer and created a lot of helped nobles and kings and powerful warlords build strongholds that had magical wards on them. And so you would guess that Kazan means that Kazan probably either built or designed this tower. And something that you know immediately when you see that, you realize that the disc that's on the door is some kind of a magical lock. And if the magical lock is not unlatched correctly, it's going to probably trigger a trap, because that was one of the things that Kazan did. Is he would oftentimes put wards on things, and there was a specific way you had to breach the ward, and if you didn't, you were in for a nasty surprise. So, and while you notice that, all the rest of you notice that Rictavio steps up to the door, and he reaches up and he pulls his spectacles off, and he puts them into a breast pocket on his coat, and he kind of adjusts the sleeves of his coat, and then he begins to look like he's doing some kind of a dance in front of the door. And he begins to move his arms in different ways. And everybody can make a perception check.
Stands tonight.
Okay, well, everybody gets it. So let's see. I'm going to...
It's a line dance. Everyone start dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No. Okay, so all right, this is the door that is on the tower. And what you notice is that the dance that Van Richten does, it's like he starts at this point here by putting his arms up, and then he puts one arm down like this, and then he pulls his arms out like that, and then he holds his arms out at the elbow and drops them like that, and then he lifts his hands up, and then he does the one up, one down, and then he holds them back out again, and then he holds them out with his out elbows straight and the arms hanging down. And when he does that, there is a mechanical click on the door, and it begins to open on its own accord. And he says,
sound effects.
Yeah. And Van Richten says, yes, Kazan had an interesting method of creating a way to block the door. All right, everyone. It should be safe to go inside. Do not interfere with any of the entities you see within. They are part of the tower and will not hurt you, but they will defend themselves.
Mulek will look to Thaldohr for his professional opinion to make sure that the door is actually safe to go through.
I'll check it.
Okay.
Investigation?
Sure. Because you are looking at a specific...
Yeah, no.
Looks safe.
Looks good to me.
Yeah,
right.
it's perfectly... It seems
After
perfectly
you.
safe.
I walk through the door.
The flagstone floor is strewn with debris, and a few old crates stand near the east wall. A torn curtain to the south partially obscures the tower vestibule. A 5-foot square indentation in the center of the floor contains 4 pulleys attached to taut iron chains that stretch up through a similarly sized hole in the rotted wooden ceiling. Standing next to the chains are 4 tall clay statues. And Van Richten says that, and he points to the wooden platform, that is apparently what Kazan calls an elevator. And those, he says, pointing to the statues, are the elevator operators. If you want to go to a different floor of the tower, you stand on the platform and tell it which floor, and they will raise you up and lower you down. But as I said, otherwise do not touch them, do not attack them, do not investigate or harm them in any way, or else they will defend themselves.
Are they carrying any, or are they holding any kind of weapon?
Nope. They just have their hands on the chains that are connected to the pulleys and the platform.
And are they human or giant or?
They look like, okay. They are clay and they are very abstract looking humans. Kind of like it's a full sized human person, about 9 foot tall. But think of the detail of the face and shoulders. Think of the large statues like on Easter Island, where they kind of have those elongated heads, and there's just kind of like a very abstract, impression of eyes and a nose. And that's basically all the detail. They're not super.
They're not Michelangelo
or,
Davids. They're Easter
they're
Island
just,
stone heads. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Except they have full bodies. And their total height from their feet to the top of their head is about 9 feet tall.
All right. Well, Rictavio, where are we headed?
He says, he looks to Esmeralda and he says, when were you last here? And she said, well, I haven't been inside because I didn't know how to operate the door. And he said, oh, okay, good. I'm glad that you did not meddle with anything, or else I'm not sure what would have happened if you got the lock wrong. He says, for myself, it has been several years since I have been here. The last time that I was in Barovia, in fact. I think that we should check the floors above to make sure that nothing has moved in. The magical wards would keep people from casting spells, but I don't know that they would block out any creatures that would be able to physically climb up the walls and crawl into a window or the gash in the side of the tower.
The broken wood on the floor. Can we tell where that's coming from?
It looks like the remains of old furniture.
Okay, so like not like broken crates like on the east wall that had like burst open or anything.
No.
Mulix just kind of glances as we're standing there. I'm going to be kind of looking at the crates to try and see if there's any markings on them or to see what.
Okay. They look very old. The wood the wood of the crates looks very old, and at least one of them looks like the lid is not squarely on the crate. It's kind of sitting askew a bit.
I'm going to try to see if I can see what's in it.
And as you walk over towards it, I am going to have. Oh, okay. I presume you're not trying to be stealthy about that.
No, I'm just casually looking, and I see. I'm just
Rictavio will look. Will notice you walking over and kind of looking at the crates, and he says, "There is no need to inspect those. They are all empty, or at least they were the last time I was here."
Do you mind if I check?
Of course not.
So I'll walk to that one that I see slightly askew, and I'll kind of see if I can slide the lid over to see if there's any.
You slide the lid over, and there's dust inside.
All right, looks empty.
Yep. And then you look back at Rictavio, and he just sort of smiles to you. All right. You know what? We are right at about the bottom of the hour. I have 27 after, so why don't we go ahead and take a break here? Okay. I'm going to put the music on for about 10 minutes. Chat, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. And actually, Amish, yes, we have 2 people missing tonight. Paul, our UK-based player, he had a reaction, kind of, it's similar to the reaction that some people get with a flu shot. He had a reaction to his second COVID shot and just is feeling kind of crappy, so he's not here tonight. And then Ken, who plays Falliger, he is actually on a fishing trip. Left today, and he is gone. I know he's going to miss tonight, and I think he's going to miss next Thursday as well. So he will be gone for 2 weeks. So I'm going to turn that. I'm going to go ahead and clear the turn order, and then close that, and then I will put the slate back up, bring the music up, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes. All right, viewers. Yeah, nice crowd tonight. Thank you guys for dropping in, and thank you guys so much for using some of the points that you're earning in the chat. Keep in mind that we do have a few little points that you can earn. I think the thing is, if you do a exclamation point commands, I think that tells you what all the commands are that you can do with the bot in the chat, and the way you can redeem points and such. Okay, there you go. Thank you, Snivy. I hope everyone is having a good week this week. Oh, hey, well, that's good. Our Raveling player just checked in by Discord, so we hope he and his friends catch a lot of tasty fish while they're on their fishing trip. Sounds like a really good use of time going on a fishing trip, doesn't it?
I couldn't get a vacation if I wanted one.
Yeah, I know.
I'm lucky to get an extra day off here and there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like most bosses are probably like, well, you guys got to stay home for most of last year, so what are you complaining about? Why didn't you travel when you could?
You expected me to work from home? Asshole.
Yeah, I didn't have that option. I had to go to work every night.
I got to work from home like a total of 6-7 days.
Oh, wow.
My boss went, I really need you to be here in the office. Okay.
Yeah.
While everybody else got to either work from home for months or, got to do like an every other day thing, I spent the majority of the time working in the office.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, we're permanent work from home, but what they've instituted, they started in April, which is kind of cool, is now like every 1 or 2 months, our team has a team meeting in person at the office. So that's good. And, we have our weekly team meetings that are still held on Microsoft Teams because the company decided to go that route instead of Skype. But now we actually get to go to the office and see each other in person once a month. So that's nice.
Yep. Wish I could have done that.
Yeah. But all right. Looks like the break timer is done. I'm going to go turn the music back down. Music is turned down. I'm going to put us back on the map. And so you guys are here at the first floor of the tower. And you have discovered this basically elevator in here, And let me go over here and grab. I'll grab the tokens, copy, and then I'll bring them over here, and I will just put them on here for us. All right. So, yeah, you guys can kind of all be in here. Wherever you want to be. And you should be able to move those tokens around wherever. So, Van Richten has suggested that it might be a good idea to investigate the other floors of the tower.
After you, Rictavio. You lead the way.
And oh yeah, I don't have his token out here, do I? So let's go ahead. Let's do Rick. Rictavio says, very well. I will go up on the elevator. Hope somebody will be prepared to come up after me if needed.
Is it a one-person elevator?
Look like you're...
It's a 5-foot square, so there's like 2 people can squeeze on there.
A 5-foot square? So are these... Oh, I guess I thought they were bigger since I thought these crates were pretty big, but...
The crates are like maybe 2.5 feet cubed.
Okay.
So 2.5 feet on a side and 2.5 feet tall. So yeah, I mean, 2 people can squeeze onto that elevator, essentially.
Well, I'll go up with Rictavio.
I'll go up with Mulek.
Okay. All right. So you get up to the 2nd floor, and you notice that the area north of the elevator, the floor north of the elevator seems solid, but the floor is very much kind of rotted away on the other sides of that elevator. Dust and cobwebs fill this otherwise empty room, the wooden floor of which is badly rotted and partially collapsed. And Rictavio looks at Des and says, I would not advise you to step onto the floor. It creaks under my weight. I do not think it would support someone of your stature. And
good advice. Don't step on the floor.
And he says, but otherwise, looking around, it doesn't look like there's anything of consequence here. And then he leans over to the side and he calls down to the golems. He says, 3rd floor, please. And the golems, they start to pull on the chains again. And the elevator is very slow. It rises 5 feet per round. And while all 4 of these golems are pulling, and they seem to, like just to the casual observer, it seems like they're all synchronized. When you're on the platform, you can tell that they're not quite in sync. And so it kind of jerks and tilts a little bit as it goes up. Not by great degrees, but like it'll shift 1 degree this way, 1 degree that way, and sort of, kind of, it's not a smooth operating thing. It's definitely feels like 4 guys pulling on chains to pull you up to the next floor is what it feels like.
Des kind of looks a little green around the gills. First of all, he's trapped in this little tiny box,
Okay.
and he's so big.
All right, and as you get up to the third floor, you can see to the northwestern corner of the tower. You can see that's where this gash is. That's in the side of the tower, and the top of the scaffolding is right there. And it looks like there's a couple of courses of bricks that have been laid, or a couple of courses of blocks that have been laid to try to begin repairing this this tower. Time and the elements have all but destroyed this chamber, leaving a gash in the northwest wall and slimy black mildew on the walls. The wooden floor is completely rotted and has begun to fall away in places. And Rictavio says, "Even I don't dare step on this floor. I don't think that you should. You should even think about it, Desarius." And then
Do I look so stupid?
You are an adventurer. Adventurers tend to think sometimes with their greed over their eyes. I do not.
And about this
know
time,
you.
he kind of reaches in, pulls out his pipe from like inside of a sleeve or pouch or something, sticks it between his teeth, and then just kind of looks hard at Rictavio, like, "Are you kidding me?"
And he just looks back at you and he says, "Would you say that my assessment is wrong about all of your companions?"
Well, since I've only just met them, not more than a day or two ago, it's kind of hard to judge. What's what?
Precisely. That is why I tend to judge people by the lowest common denominator and not expect any more from them until I know differently.
Mm. So basically, you have no faith in humanity.
My friend, I have learned that humanity and its pursuit of what it values is what has created the monsters that I have devoted my life to fight against. The vampires, the lycanthropes, the creatures born of mad wizards meddling. That is what I think of humanity. And that is the faith that I have in it when it is left to its own devices.
Were you born here?
No, I was not born here.
He kind of looks at him and goes, "Unfortunately, I think you have lived here too long. It is starting to change you. I don't think that you were like this before you came here."
And he looks down like he's going to call down to the golems, but then he stops and he turns back to Des and he says, "I have been changed by what has befallen me. When the Vistani took my boy, my precious Erasmus, and they sold him to a vampire to become its spawn, something in me died, and that has never been back again. I will always be haunted, Desarius, by the look in my child's eyes as I drove a wooden stake through his heart to destroy what he had become.
Mm.
Do you imagine that if such a fate ever befell you, that you would be able to find much good in living ever again?
Would depend on the situation. Sometimes there are ways that, even though things seem hopeless, gone, unable to move forward, there's always a way to rectify the situation, or to make right, or to live a different life that is still worth living, even in a changed state.
And he kind of looks at his nails, and he picks at something under one of his nails, and he says, "Perhaps I will find a different way when I have completed what I came here to do. You see, I learned that it was Strahd who turned the vampire that turned my boy. I intend to take revenge for the life of my son on Strahd. I want to be the last thing that monster sees as I drive a stake in its heart and destroy it forever." And then he leans down over and he says, "Fourth floor, please." And the golems begin hauling on the chains again.
While the golems are doing this, I look over to Thaldohr and I say, "What do you think's in these crates?" And I walk back over to the one that I had moved the lid, and I pull out my silver dagger and I kind of stir it inside just to kind of make sure there's nothing, I didn't miss anything. I didn't want to like examine it with Rictavio looking at me, but now that he's up there, I'm looking at it a little bit closer.
Okay, yep. You can't feel anything. You obviously can't see anything in there. You can't feel anything in there. For all intents and purposes, it seems empty.
And then I go to one that has a lid on it, and I'm just looking to see if there's any kind of writing markings that show what this crate is for.
There's like maybe some faint edges of what might have once been stenciled letters, but it's so faded with age that you can't even get an inkling of what it might have been, what even language it might have been written in, much less what it might have said. And you can tell when you get up close to this crate that the lid, while it is sitting on the crate, the lid had been taken off at one time and then has been set back on, but it hasn't been nailed. It hasn't been sealed again.
Hasn't been nailed. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna lift up to take my dagger, just kind of pry another one open just to look in.
It's empty.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
My curiosity is satisfied.
Okay. All right. So then Des and Rictavio get to the top floor. Unlike the levels below, this room shows signs of more recent habitation. Although the place reeks of mold and mildew, it has plenty of creature comforts, including a cozy bed, a desk with matching chair, bright tapestries, and a large iron stove with plenty of wood to feed it. Light enters through narrow slits as well as through dirt-caked windows with broken shutters. Other features of the room include a standing suit of armor and a wooden chest Old wooden rafters bend under the weight of the tower roof, which has somehow remained intact. Mounted to the rafters are pulleys around which hang iron chains that support the tower's elevator platform. And Van Richten steps off of the elevator, and he walks across, and the wood floor has a very solid sound to it. And he says, this all seems to be just as I left it.
Including smell?
Well, no, not that so much. I would that we could use a prestidigitation cantrip here to get rid of the smell of the mold and mildew. As it is, I think I will strip all of the linens from the bed, carry those downstairs and outside, and prestidigitate them, and then bring them back. But, he says, he points to the suit of armor, and he says, don't disturb that. It can be a useful servant if you know how to use it, but
what is he pointing
otherwise,
to?
he's pointing to the suit of armor in the corner.
Okay.
It can be a useful servant if you know how to use it, but if it is disturbed, like the golems below, it will defend itself.
Mm.
And then he says, the that gives me an idea. And then he turns to the armor and he says, Kazan. And the armor just sort of seems to stiffen up a little bit and steps off of its plinth that it's standing on. And Rictavio says, strip the linens from the bed. Take them downstairs and outside. I will be down presently. And the suit of armor walks over to the bed, and it just begins grabbing the linens and pulling them off and just sort of balling them all up into a big ball in front of its chest. And it walks over to the elevator and it stands on it. And then Rictavio goes to the edge of the elevator and yells down, first floor! And the elevator platform slowly starts to descend with the armor on it. Do you want to stay up here, or do you want to step on the elevator?
Windows?
There are some small windows, yes.
Okay. Are they open?
One of the windows has broken shutters. The other window has shutters that are closed. But yes.
I'll just go over to one of them and make sure that it's open and look out over the distance, letting in fresh air.
Okay. Let's see. So tell me which side of the tower do you go to?
Here.
Okay, you go to the east side.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So as you look, out to the east,
mm-hmm.
What do you see to the east? You see across the lake. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's west. I'm getting my east and west mixed up. Never mind. So west, you look across the lake, and you see the woods that you all came through, and out on the far side of the lake, on the shore, you do see some movement out there. But that movement is, it's about a mile away. So
Gotcha.
might be a little tough to make out the exact detail.
Does it
But
look
there's
like
something.
a beam, or possibly like upright, or does it look like it may be closer to the ground?
Well, it's not one. It's quite a few of whatever it is.
Okay.
And they appear to be moving.
Okay. So let me see here. Would I be able to do a perception or something? See if I can get my eyes to focus.
Yeah. You can do a
better.
perception check.
Mm.
Kind of a high DC. But a 26. 26 is good enough. Yeah. There's how many? Oh, you can't tell how many, but there's over 100 humanoid looking creatures that are kind of walking towards the edge of the lake and looking like they are going to start coming around the edge of the lake.
Oh.
We have a priest.
I don't believe we do. Don't think we have a cleric. Rictavio has his holy symbol.
I was just wondering if we could bless the water.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it doesn't look like it doesn't look like this is like they're going to swim in the water. It looks like they are going to walk around the edge of the shoreline. So
so I take the pipe out of my mouth and kind of stick my finger in the bowl and look to relight it. And then I look out the window again and go, company's coming.
And Rictavio looks up and he says, the undead?
It's either that or your in-laws.
He says, oh. Let me see. And he steps over towards the window where you have been. And you can see there's a trunk that he has opened. And now the fact that he has opened this trunk, there's sort of a smell of lavender coming out of it. But he's probably not strong enough to shove Des aside, but he definitely wants to get at the window where you have been and try to see
takes a step back.
Okay.
Kind of uses his pipe to point in the general direction that they are. I'd say about 100 or so. More, maybe a little.
And he looks and he says, yes. He says, and I estimate if they come around the lake, we have perhaps an hour, maybe less. Okay, well, at least we have some warning. We should get downstairs and warn the others and make a plan. Sharp eyes, Des. Speaking of sharp eyes, do you glance over at the trunk he has open?
Just, I mean, I'm gonna move aside, so let him closer to the window, and just kind of look in the trunk like, okay.
Okay. You see a severed head of a human, and from the complexion of their skin, it's probably a human Vistana. Its flesh has a waxy complexion, and it looks like it's been embalmed.
I kind of point to it with the stem of my pipe after taking it out of my mouth and go, interesting tchotchke you've got there in your trunk.
And
I'm sure that's got one heck of a story.
He looks at that and he looks back at Des and he says, "Oh yes, that's Jan. Jan was a foolish half elf.
I was foolish.
He tried to steal my wagon and my monkey. And he
don't touch the monkey."
And he grabs the hilt of his cane, which is kind of a sword, and he just slides 6 inches of the blade out of the cane, and he says, "Fortunately, he was too slow." And then he pushes the blade back into the cane and pats it. And he says, "But I have found that by embalming him, it lengthens the time that I can use Speak with Dead. He has revealed many secrets to me over this last decade, information that I have found very useful in my hunt."
Interesting. So I was thinking I've got that that stone shape spell. I don't have it active yet, but that could always be used to help secure up the floors or whatever in this place at some point.
Would it?
Well, it does say you touch a stone object of medium size. And this is just for one round of the spell.
The magic.
Say what?
Does the magic work?
Oh, that's right. God damn it. I keep forgetting about that. Okay, well then I can't do it.
And meanwhile, those of you on the ground floor, you hear Rictavio's voice say, "First floor," and the stone or the clay golems begin reversing the way they are pulling on the chain, and you can tell that the elevator is slowly descending, and when it descends through the second floor, Rictavio and Des are not standing on the elevator. Instead, standing on the elevator is a suit of armor that is holding a big bundle of bed linens. And as the elevator finally touches the floor, the suit of armor steps off of the elevator, and it will, maneuver around anybody that it needs to maneuver around, and it will go to the door. And as it approaches the door from this side, the door automatically opens, and it steps out into the it steps outside the tower and walks about 15 feet away from the tower, and then it just stands there holding on to the linen. And while it is leaving, you hear Rictavio's voice again say, 4th floor. And the golems begin hauling on the chains again. And
so before while they're still up there, I would have done one more thing, and I would have looked at Thaldohr, and I would have reached into my bag of tricks, and I look at Thaldohr and go, "Do you think it'll work?" And I'm just gonna toss one of the balls onto the ground, see if it does anything.
A little fuzzball falls to the ground and just sits on the floor.
Good to know. I walk over, I pick it up, and I put it back in the bag.
Okay. You walk. Yeah. Okay. You do that. And we're going to leave Des and Rictavio up on the top floor of the tower for the moment. And we are going to come down to the first floor. Esmeralda is down there with you. And she looks at the two of you, Thaldohr and Mulek, and she says, "Are you all familiar with the Tarokka?"
Tarokka. Have I heard that name before or that word before?
I don't think you have.
Yeah,
at least not here. At least not here. So make a history check. See if you've ever heard of it.
Don't recognize it.
Because as a player, you may not have ever heard it in the game, but Mulek may have heard about it. And Thaldohr, same thing. You can make a history check if you wish.
He may have had to step away to reset his computer. I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. And
hear me?
Oh, yeah, we got you.
Okay, yeah, we can hear you.
Now Chrome has completely just went to crap on me.
Oh, jeez.
Like, I don't know what's happened. Like, I try to open Chrome and it just nothing works.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Roll a history check if you can.
Yeah, I can pull up his character sheet and roll it if he wants me to. Mike, would you like me to roll a history check for you?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't know. Now everything's acting goofy.
Okay.
At my computer twice.
Oh, whoops. Oh, wow. Okay. So, yeah. Thaldohr got a 20 on his roll. Dirty 20. So, Mulek, yeah, you've heard that word Tarokka, and you remember it to be vaguely connected with something mystical. But Thaldohr, you heard about Tarokka, and you had an interest in it because you were trying to figure out if it could be used for gambling. Tarokka are a set of cards, and they are not necessarily playing cards, but they are cards that are used by those with by those who claim to have a gift of prophecy, and by reading what the Tarokka cards say or what they mean, it is said that people can read your fortune. And Esmeralda says, so that's what you guys would know when she asks if you've heard of the Tarokka. So you can respond however.
I know it vaguely. Why do you ask?
And I just wanted to know if Thaldohr was going to say anything.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I tell Mulek everything I know.
Okay, all right. And Esmeralda nods, and she says, one of the one of the gifts that we Vistani, especially Vistani women, often receive at birth is the gift of prophecy. I have been known to have true readings of the Tarokka cards. If you all are willing, I can get my cards from my wagon and give you a reading. It may help you determine what we should do next.
I'm up for it.
Sounds good to me.
All right, so she will go outside and she looks back at you and says, one of you stand near the door so it stays open.
Sure. I stand.
Okay. And she goes outside, goes to her wagon, and produces a key from a chain hanging around her neck, unlocks the thing, steps in, comes back out. She has a small wooden box that's maybe 2 or 3 inches high and about 6 inches deep and maybe 8 inches long. And she closes and locks the door of the wagon again, and she walks back past the suit of armor and comes in again. And she points to a couple of the crates, and she says, "I can only read this for one of you. If I read it for both of you, it will give us confusing information. I have learned enough over the years that when we seek the fate of a group of people, one reading is sufficient and gives the most accurate results."
Thaldohr, you want to give it a try?
Sure, why not? I'll take the reading.
Okay, so she has you sit down on one of the crates, and the crates are sturdy enough to sit on. And she sits down on another crate, and there's a crate between you. And she will begin to talk about what the Tarokka means and how the Tarokka works. And she will lay out 5 cards. And then she will begin to she sets them all down face down, and she looks at Thaldohr, and she says, the first card tells of history. Knowledge of the ancient will help you better understand your enemy. And she will flip the card over, and it reveals the missionary. And she will then say to you, I see a garden dusted with snow, watched over by a scarecrow with a sackcloth grin. Look not to the garden, but to the guardian. And then she says,
Interesting.
The second card tells of a powerful force for good and protection, a holy symbol of great hope. And she moves to the top card, and she will flip that one over. And that reveals the miser. And Esmeralda says, "Look for a fortress inside a fortress, a place hidden behind fire." And then she goes to the card on the right-hand side, and she says, "The third card is a card of power and strength. It tells of a weapon of vengeance, a sword of sunlight." And she will flip that card open, and it reveals the Dictator. And she says, and she kind of breathes in, and she says, "I cannot believe our luck. Look for a wizard's tower on the lake. Let the wizard's name and servant guide you to that which you seek." And she looks up at Thaldohr, and then she looks out beyond the door towards the suit of armor standing in the yard. And then she looks back to Thaldohr, and she raises an eyebrow.
I look over at Mulek as she read the card, and I say, "Mulek, wizard's servant. Would this suit of armor not be the servant of the wizard?"
Oh, it could definitely be a servant of the wizard.
So I know the wizard's name, right?
Yeah. You know that Krezk, whatever the hell it was. Kazan, thank you.
So I wonder if I asked this thing to protect Zahn's tower, would it go out and just start obliterating the undead that I don't know is outside? Sorry, my bad. That's meta. I wonder if I asked this thing in its master's name if it can protect us, would it do it? You know what I mean?
Who are you? Oh, you're asking Mulek. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Repeat that.
I said, I wonder if I asked this thing to protect us in its master's name, would it do it?
Well, it's obviously doing something with some linen and here. So obviously it's following someone's commands.
Good point. I guess we'll have to talk to Rictavio. But that's interesting. Thank you for the reading.
Well, there's 2 more cards to go, and she points to the bottom card, and she says, the 4th card will shed light on one who will help you greatly in the battle against darkness. And she flips that over, and it reveals the marionette. And she breathes in, and she says, "What horror is this? I see a man made by a man, ageless and alone. He..." And then she sort of just looks around. She says, "I sense he is very close to us now."
And Mulek's just going, just not really saying anything. What does it, is this a good thing or a bad thing?
This is one who will help us greatly. It will help you greatly in the battle against darkness. So it is a help, but it seems horrifying. A man made by a man. What can that mean?
Could it be like a doll? Have you ever known a doll to be a great help?
Only if it had some sort of semblance of, and she sort of points to the golems that are still lowering the elevator or raising the elevator to allow Des and Rictavio to come down. I guess by this time they're probably lowering, and Des and Rictavio, you guys are probably on the elevator coming down when she gets to this point. Unless they have some semblance of mobility, I don't know, or some intelligence. And then she says, "But there is yet one more card we must consult." And she says, "The last is your enemy, who's a creature of darkness, whose powers are beyond mortality. This card will lead you to him." And with that, she turns over the center card, and the center card is the Horseman. And she looks up at you and she says, "He lurks in the one place to which he must return, a place of death." And then as she finishes the last reading, she sort of just seems to sag a little bit and she just starts sweating profusely. And her hands are trembling a little bit. And she seems a little bit like she's going to almost like fall off of the crate that she's sitting on.
You okay? I reach out to help.
And she just reaches out and grabs a hold of your hand to steady herself a little bit. And she says, "Oh, I forget how much that always takes out of me. Did any of that make any sense to you?"
Some of it, maybe.
It did. I get where it's coming from. I kind of have an idea of what needs to be done, but it's going to take a lot more than just the people we have here. I mean, we might be able to do it with the experience that you and Rictavio have, but I just don't know, as powerful as that Lord Strahd is, if we can handle this.
Okay.
I look over at Mulek and go, "Mulek, we might not survive this."
Well, like I said, it's the only way I know out of this place.
Then if I'm going to die, I'm dying with somebody that at least I know has my back.
For sure. Because I know I'm not finding answers in decrepit land.
Then I guess we got to do what we got to do. And you see Thaldohr just stand up, dust himself off, and just, go walk to a corner and think for a little bit.
Hey, there's a handout I'm about to put in all of your journals, and the handout basically just has the information from what the cards were and what she said. So it's just sort of reference for you guys. And then I'm going to edit. And
I'll check that out once I get Chrome to work. I don't know what's going on. I click on Chrome and it does nothing. I deleted it, reinstalled it. Yeah, I'm having a day today. That and all my games in my Steam library are deleted.
Oh no.
Fudge. Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh yeah. But they're all on my hard drive, which makes no sense. Like they're not downloaded in Steam, but they're all on my hard drive.
Oh gosh.
So I'm having a day. So I'm gonna have to get my buddy to come into my computer here in a bit.
Okay. Well, we're getting close to being finished.
Oh no, you're good. No, everything's still fine. Other than that,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure some stuff out.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned this because what we'll probably do is if we wind up having a combat, we'll probably stop before we start that combat so that you can be a full participant in that.
Oh, well, thank you, sir.
When we get ready, and then we will hopefully have either Paul and or Ken back by that time. All right, so after that reading, as Esmeralda finishes that up and she is kind of swooning a little bit, Des, you and Rictavio reach the ground floor.
Okay.
And so I don't know if you want to share anything with them about what you saw.
At this point in time, I will walk out and just kind of look around at everybody and take in their expressions and then give a bit of a sigh and say, I hope you had a moment to rest. We're about to have the in-laws come visit and, well, what's left of the in-laws. He chuckles.
And Rictavio gives kind of a wry smile and says, yes, we managed to outpace the undead, but they are on our trail. They are coming around the edge of the lake even now. I estimate they will be here within the hour. And he will go outside, and he will go up to the suit of armor, and he will take take one of the linens and hold it out, and he will just sort of wave his hands, and he casts some sort of a little spell, and you guys know that he's casting prestidigitation, and kind of all the mildew and dust and everything just sort of goes away from the linen, and then he folds that up and he puts that one over one arm, and then he pulls the next one out and he does the same thing, and he does that for all of those. And when he gets them all folded up, he then hands them back to the suit of armor, and he tells the armor to go back in and make the bed, and the armor turns and starts walking back inside carrying this, and it walks to the elevator. And then when Rictavio enters, he says, 4th floor. And the golems start pulling up, and it takes the suit of armor up to the 4th floor.
Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. So I noticed, oh, wait. Okay. So I noticed he cast a spell, but yet nobody else can cast a spell.
He went outside. He went outside
the door
by the wagon. Okay. Yeah. He went outside by the wagon. That's why he had the suit of armor go outside, is so that he could use his prestidigitation out there. Yeah. And it might be entirely reasonable for Thaldohr to go, wait a minute, I thought you said you couldn't cast spells in here. And he would explain, inside the tower, magic will not work. But if you go at least 5 or 6 feet away from the tower walls outside, your spells and magic items will work normally. Gotcha. The only magic that works in here is whatever Kazan set up when he built this place. Nothing else seems to work.
Well, I guess I have to figure out a game plan.
Okay. And so Esmeralda will recap, and I'm going to go ahead and share this handout and show it. You guys should have this in your whoops. You guys should wind up having this in your journals that you can look at. And so she kind of goes over for Rictavio what the Tarokka cards told her. And he just sort of, his face is just kind of a mask of concentration. And he says, well, I don't want to spend much time on this now. We need to decide how we are going to try to defend ourselves when the undead arrive. Do you all have any ideas?
Are there any powers of this tower that you know of?
Well, nothing can come in the doors, that's for sure. With the scaffolding outside, things may be able to climb up on the scaffolding. I would be loath to collapse it, but perhaps that would be the better part of valor, to collapse the scaffolding so that they cannot crawl up inside this place.
But does this tower contain any other magical wards, powers, other than that no magic can be cast within? Has this tower been sufficiently investigated for any other potential powers or help or secrets?
He points up to the elevator and he says, well, the animated armor is just the normal variety. It looks tough, but it does not have much strength and would not be much use in a fight against a strong opponent or opponents of overwhelming numbers. It would perhaps be able to defend itself for a time before too many creatures attacked it and destroyed it. These golems here that operate the elevator, there is no way to get them to respond to any stimuli other than by telling them which floor to go to or by attacking them and having them defend themselves.
Is there a fireplace in this tower?
A hearth?
Yes.
There is a... Let me just double check if there is a hearth. Come on, tower, you get over there. No, there's really not. There's not a hearth in here.
What is this thing right here?
That's a desk. up on the 4th floor.
Oh, okay.
Actually, it's kind of like a wooden stove. It's a stove. Yeah,
that's
it's
what I
a
was
stove.
thinking. It was a stove.
It's a freestanding stove, but it's not a hearth. I mean, you could put wood in it and light the wood up, and it's used basically for heating that space. Is what it's for.
I was just thinking about fortress inside a fortress. Could this tower be considered a fortress?
And let's see. What is a good check to try to figure out the meaning of a cryptic prophetic message?
Intelligence?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what skill you would use. Would that be a knowledge check? Or investigation? Yeah, maybe investigation. Yeah, maybe investigation to try to tease out the meaning behind.
Yeah, so I'm gonna grab the stone speaker crystal. I'm gonna hold that, concentrating on this one specific fire fortress inside a fortress. So I get advantage intelligence.
Oh wow. 26. Yeah, you when you think of a fortress, you think a tower itself is probably not a fortress. And in fact, the way this place is designed, this is designed more like a residence and not a fortress.
Okay.
However, when you think of a fortress, something that's often at the heart of a fortress is a castle.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that will give good for protection. Garden dusted with snow. Garden dusted with
Yeah. Everybody can go ahead and make a intelligence or a intelligent. Yeah, it's an intelligence check. It wouldn't be a history check. It would be an intelligence check.
Oh, okay. I know what we need to do. Sorry, what are we doing? Straight up intelligence?
Yeah.
I got that. Give me a roll.
Okay. You got it working again, Michael?
I do not. I got somebody remoted into my computer right now checking it out. So that's why I left the call real quick. Or left the Discord.
Okay. So let me go ahead and do the intelligence. 14. Yeah. Des.
Yes.
You remember a detail from this morning and last night.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when you were at the Abbey. There are some gardens at the Abbey, and the gardens have scarecrows in them. And you remember that when you woke up this morning, as you were leaving, there was a couple of little places where a light snow had fallen on the garden.
Mm-hmm.
So you're thinking, oh, that may be talking about the garden dusted with snow. Might be referencing the abbey that you guys came from.
Okay.
What is
I'll kind of pass that message and that info along.
Okay.
What is the suit of armor doing right now? Still outside with the women?
Nope. It's making the bed upstairs.
I think we need to focus on the knight of armor. I think it can show us something that will provide us some help.
And Rictavio says, "Oh, is that so?"
Yes. I'm not exactly sure how to go about doing it other than using the wizard's name and letting it guide us. So if there's a way to use the wizard's name and the suit of armor lead us, I'm confident that it may take us somewhere or show us something.
And they Rictavio will say to you, "Well, to get the animated armor to respond, all you need do is speak the wizard's name and tell it what you want it to do."
Well, what are we waiting for?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna get on the platform and start heading towards the.
Okay, well, before you can get on it, Rictavio says to the columns, "First floor," and they begin to bring the elevator back down.
Oh,
so
I wasn't
they
there.
bring it. Yeah, they bring it down. You can hop on, and Rictavio will hop on with you, and takes you up to the fourth floor, and you see that the animated armor is just finishing up kind of a military crisp bed making, and is just reaching over to fluff the pillows at the moment.
I'll yell out, "Kazan."
And the armor stops what it's doing and turns and looks at you.
And I'll say, "Show us the way." Does it do anything?
It does not. It does not immediately do that.
I'll say, "Kazan, guide me to that which I seek."
And it just stands there. Everybody make me an intelligence check.
Do I know what the sort of sunlight? Intelligence.
Sorry, what did I miss?
A straight up intelligence?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Des.
Mm-hmm.
Des.
Mm-hmm.
You remember something. You remember some specific verbiage that Esmeralda said.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that she talked about, that was related to card 3. So you remember something specific that she said about card 3. Which you guys should have on your screens now.
Kazan, show me the sort of sunlight.
And when you say that, the suit of armor. Oh, crap. I forgot to do this.
I didn't know I had to be so specific.
When you do that, the suit of armor will turn and we'll go over beside the desk here, and we'll go to the wall, and we'll reach out to the.
Hold on.
What? Are you
sorry,
talking to us, or are you talking to somebody else?
Sorry, guys. I forgot I took it off push to talk. No, give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay. The animated armor goes over to the wall and reaches up and pushes on a block on the wall that looks like just about anything else or any other block that's there, except that it pushes in a couple of inches, and then below that, a kind of tall, narrow, hidden door just opens, and there's a little cubby inside there. And what you see is a hilt of a sword that just seems to be missing its blade. And it's resting in that little cubby hole.
I'll walk over and reach in, pick it up. But as I do so, I'm going to be cautious doing it. Make sure the animated armor isn't going to attack me.
Nope, it doesn't. You told it what to do. It did it.
All right, I'll pick up the weapon.
Okay, congratulations. You guys have solved one of the 5 Tarokka cards. You are 20% of your way to figuring out what this all means.
All right, piece of cake.
Okay. Good. Okay, well, we're as we wind down towards the end of our session here, you guys now notice that if you look out the windows, everybody can see that there's a fairly large group of undead, and they appear to be mostly skeletons and zombies, probably, are shambling around the edge of the lake and getting close to the causeway. And they are getting ready to come across the causeway towards the tower. So they'll probably be to the tower within the next 10 or 15 minutes of in-game time. So we're going to leave our session there, and we are going to pick up next time. And I'm going to cut it a little bit early because Michael's having so much trouble with his computer. We will pick up next time with you guys figuring out what you want to do with the few minutes left to you before the undead arrive, and then how you might want to try to defend yourselves in the tower, or if you think you need to try to escape the tower before escape is impossible.
We're gonna run.
Because you still have some time to, if you think that you need to get away, you still have some time to do that now before
we're gonna run.
You get trapped here. All right. Well, players, thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. And Michael, I'm really sorry that you were having so much trouble with your computer tonight. That really just is no fun at all.
No bueno.
And viewers, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. Hope you.
Oh yes, inspiration.
Thank you very much for the inspiration for the players. That did definitely help them get through the skills challenge. Since Michael is not here right now, I will just remind you all that over on twitch.tv/Doors of which is his channel, he does streaming different times of the week, and he has been running a D&D game on Friday nights. So presuming that everything gets fixed with his computer between now and tomorrow night, he may be running that. So check him out on twitch.tv/Doors of And Paul, who is normally with us in the game, he plays on a semi-regular basis with a group called the Action Sturge. You can find them at twitch.tv/the Action Sturge, and that is all one word, and Sturge is Sturge. So they play on Wednesday night over there. And so you can go check them out. They usually have some fun and interesting D&D content that they do. As for what's coming up here, we will have another Monster Monday coming up on Monday night. Saturday night, we will have our Greyhawk 2nd Edition game. Our second episode of that. They are investigating the old moat house, and I think when we left off last time, they were fighting some giant frogs out in front of the moat house and trying to avoid getting swallowed by them. Then on Sunday afternoon this week, we will be back with the Walker of Waterdeep, our 5e planeswalking game where they are in the city of Waterdeep. One of our players will not be with us. Ken will not be with us because he is on that wonderful fishing trip. We hope he catches a lot of fish, and they're very tasty, and they have a lot of fun. And then we will be back here next Thursday night as well for another edition of the Sword Coast Chronicles. Tonight was session 45. We're closing in on session 50 here. And we're closing in on session 100 on Sunday afternoons. So I'm trying to figure out what we want to do for our 100 session. If you guys have any thoughts in the chat, go ahead and hit us up on Sunday afternoons and let us know what you think we should do for our 100 session there. All right. I have been DM Galabon. The players have been the players. We'll end as we always do by going and trying to find somebody on one of our teams, Twitch teams that we're a part of. We are a part of the Game Rebel team and the small streamer community. This month we are highlighting folks from the Game Rebel team, and we're looking to see who is doing some fun stuff. Oh, well, if this isn't golden oldie, Mytho TV is playing some World of Warcraft. So, back to rating. All right, so who is he in? Wait a minute. Oh no, never mind. That's looks like it's about to end. Okay. Oh. Call of Duty Warzone. Okay. So XXD, the man, is doing some Call of Duty, so we'll do that. All right. And viewers, thank you guys all for hanging out. We will talk to you next week. Have a wonderful week. And don't forget, all the archives are over on the YouTube channel, that you can check out past episodes there. Talk to you all later. Good night, everyone.
See ya.
And we are out.